Okay, so class has officially started because recording has started. And like I was saying, this class is going to be recorded. And for those who are very new to Excel, there are some things I may say that you may not catch. There are some things you may not catch. I'll share the recording with everyone. So I'm recording on this end. So don't worry about recording on your end. I'll share the recording with everyone. So there are some things you may not catch when I say it for the first time. And because we have a lot to cover, Excel is quite wide, and we want to see how much we can cover in all these days. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, maybe saying one thing 3 times. So if I go over it, what will happen is, if it is not clear to you, you can ask a question in the chat group, like I said, or send me a direct message, or you can go over the recording again. And then somebody said to me, I do not have devices to practice. Okay, the good thing for you is that since it's going to be recorded, when you have devices available, maybe in the office, then you can practice. So just listen while we go through the class, and then you can practice after the class. Now, one other question I want to get out of the way before we dive into the class is, some people wonder, are we going to have classes every day for 1 month? No. We're actually going to have 4 sections, hoping that we can do 6 to 8 hours in those 4 sections. So these sessions are going to be every Wednesday from 8 p.m., 8 to 9:30 thereabout. Let's see what we can cover in that 1.5 hours to 2 hours, and then we move it up to next Wednesday. And then 1 or 2 people said, oh, Wednesday, I may be busy. Don't worry. The next set of classes are going to actually be Wednesdays, and then we're going to have some on Thursday. So for those who are busy for Wednesdays, they will take their classes on Thursday. Those who are busy on Thursday will take their classes on Wednesday. So without further ado, the class is ready to start. So I'm going to go ahead and share my first slide, which is an introduction to data analytics, which is going to give us an idea of what is this all about. So this is an introduction to data analytics. Now, if your mic is muted, you can just unmute. Let me unmute a few people and be sure you can hear me. Okay, let me see. UK, can you hear me? UK, please unmute. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I want to be sure somebody can hear me.
I can hear you, sir.
I can hear you very well.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So for all of us who have joined, I want to say welcome. I see that we have almost 50 people in the class now, and I promise it's going to be a good time. I'm not going to waste your time. So let's dive into it straight away. Now, your first slide says data as the new oil, and why this analogy is used often is you need to dig deep to get oil. That's the same thing with getting insight from data. When you have data and you cannot get insight from the data, it's as useless as having crude oil. You cannot drill, you cannot refine, so that you get your petrol, your diesel, your kerosene, and make money like Nigeria is doing from oil. So to get insight from data, you must be able to analyze data. And that is how we came about the phrase called data analysis. So now, this is an introduction to data analysis where we try to build a foundation for data-driven decisions, so that as an individual, as a business, you don't make your decisions based on emotion. You actually make your decision based on data, based on insight. So that's the whole idea behind data analytics. So let's start by asking ourselves, what is data analysis? I'm sure some of us have 1 or 2 definitions, but I'm going to quickly just drop our definition here. Process of examining data to extract useful insights for decision making. And like I said in the introduction, to get value from the crude oil, the one Nigeria has, we must drill it. That's the same way you must drill into data, you must extract data, you must analyze data to be able to make useful decisions. So whether you're a business, whether you're a country, to get useful information, insights from data, you must analyze data. Now, I'm going to quickly tell you about 4 types of data analytics. I don't want you to worry about the speed of this part. We are going to dive into the main thing soon. I'm going to share this slide with you, so don't worry about it. For those of you who like taking notes, no problem, you can take your notes, but I'm going to definitely share this slide with you. descriptive data analysis. And what does this mean? It simply describes what happened. You analyze data just to know what are the antecedents, what was the thing going on in this environment based on the data we have collected. Now, diagnostic data analysis. Why did it happen? Now, we're almost like a doctor looking at the data and asking ourselves, why did this happen? What caused this result that we are seeing? So we've talked about descriptive, which only talks about what happened, what exactly is going on in this set of data. Diagnostics, why did it happen? And then we move on to predictive. What could happen? We can analyze data and see a trend. We can analyze data and say, oh, in another 1 month, this is what will happen. In another 2 years, this is what will happen. That is predictive. Now we are looking beyond the descriptive, the diagnostic, to predicting what will happen in the future. If I have 10 oranges and I keep taking one out every minute, you are sure that in 10 minutes, I've taken out every orange. That is predictive. You can predict that in 10 minutes, I'll take out all the orange. That's a simple analogy. And then finally, prescriptive. What should we do? Now, if I don't want to exhaust my 10 oranges in the basket, prescriptive, what should we do? Then I should stop taking them out. I'll give you an example you all can relate to. Imagine you have your salary and you keep doing dorime every day. Nobody needs to tell you descriptive, prescriptive, that your salary will soon run out. So that's basically 4 types of data analytics. Now, why data analytics? Why does it matter? I mentioned that in the introduction. It helps us to make better decisions. Now, your decisions are not simply emotional or unthought. Data analytics help you to make better decisions. It helps you to discover patterns and trends. You see how things are going. And this is very clear when you do your charts and your graphs. You see the trend. You see what direction things are going to. Then it helps you to improve efficiency and performance. In monitoring and evaluation, they say that you cannot improve what is not measured. Whether your score is 1/10 or 1/100, if you don't measure, if you don't have data, you can't improve it because you don't even know whether you are doing well or doing badly. So it helps you to improve efficiency and performance, and it gives you competitive advantage. Imagine a company is selling 3 different products. They don't have any data. They just sell and money comes in. They don't even know which product is selling more than the other. They are not analyzing which region is buying our product, which demography. Is it the young people? Is it old people? Is it the north? Is it the south? All of those insights come from data analytics. And for a business, it gives you competitive advantage. What are the products people are buying from us? Who are the people buying from us? What is their age bracket? What is their region? So some of those information you get from data analytics helps to improve your competitive advantage as a business. Now, let me look at the process of data analytics. This is important for you to have at the back of your mind when you start dealing with data. The first thing is to ask the right questions. To get insight from data, you must be asking the right questions. Like I said, you ask questions like, what's the demography? What's the age bracket? Some people can find out, oh, it's females that patronize us more than the male. So asking the right question, like, who are the people patronizing us, will give you an insight that we have more female customers than male customers. And what decision will you make from that kind of information? If I need to advertise, I should advertise in a female environment or magazine or program than advertising in a football match, because I have more female customers. Asking the right question. 2, collecting the right data. You can have 100 million data sets, but if you don't collect the right data, you cannot get the right insight from the data. 2 is collecting the right data. 3, clean and prepare data. When you start collecting large volume of data, for example, everybody who registered for this seminar, the moment I downloaded the data, it comes with a lot of fluff, date stamp, time stamps, some information you do not need. To be able to analyze data, first you must clean. We're going to learn about cleaning data. You must clean and prepare. We're going to learn how to clean, how to prepare data. If you don't clean and prepare data, you cannot analyze it safely. You'll not get the results you want when you have blanks or when you have special characters inside your data. How do we do that? It's nice and easy. You don't have to go in and do it one by one. We're going to get into data cleaning when we make progress. Then once you clean your data, you can now analyze your data. Now, there are different tools for analyzing data, pivot table, and those kind of tools for analyzing data. And then finally, visualize and communicate insights. In Excel, we can start talking about charts. But when you go beyond Excel and you go into Power BI, Python, and SQL, you can have more advanced charts that help you to visualize data. Now, when you have like 1 million rows of data, you can't get insights from it. But if you reduce that 1 million rows of data to one chart, it's easy to get insight from the chart. It's easy to see the direction, the trend from the chart. So that's visualization. And Power BI is a very powerful visualization tool. Excel has some visualization tools in its charts and pivot tables and pivot charts, but Power BI takes it to the next level. It has better charts and it has more visualization. Of course, when you have done all of this analysis and visualization, you can now make data-driven decisions. So this is the data analytics process. You ask the right questions. That question will prompt you to collect the right data. You clean and prepare the data for analysis. Then you do what we call data analysis. You actually analyze the data. Now, when you've analyzed the data, you can summarize it in a visualization, like a chart, something easy to digest. Instead of looking at 1 million rows of data, it's easy to summarize it in one pivot chart. And then finally, you make your data-driven decision from there. I'm going to list some of the tools used in data analytics. Some of them we are going to cover in the course of our work. And I'm going to tell you why we are not going to cover all. Let me start with, of course, this is the reason why we are here, Excel. I'm going to talk about why Excel. Now, there's Power BI and Tableau. Now, when I say we are not going to cover all, this is one of the reasons. The same thing Power BI does for you, analysis and visualization, is the same thing Tableau does for you. So if you want to learn Power BI and Tableau, by all means, you are welcome. But if you know Power BI, you can do everything that can be done in Tableau. So why do you need to know this and that? It's like you want to drive two cars to the same direction. Okay, you want to drive a convoy, no problem, but you can't stay in the two cars. So you can learn the two, but both of them will give you the same visualization. SQL, structured query language. Now we are starting talking about programming. Now let me say something about SQL. Very many people, when they hear programming, their head is swelling. Okay, let me drop the next one, Python and Arrow. I want to demystify SQL and Python and Arrow. When you learn Excel, when you start to write Excel function, it might be simple as equals to A1 plus B3, comma. When you start writing the Excel functions and you see it work, when you get into an SQL environment, you just realize that, oh, it's just a little advanced level of programming. Like the same way you were writing function in Excel, where your comma is very important, your equal to is very important, your bracket is very important. SQL just takes it to the next level. So it's not something out of this world from some guru and some geeks. Absolutely not. I don't want your mind to think of SQL and say, that's beyond me. No. When you learn Excel and you move into SQL, you just realize that, oh, this is similar to what I was doing in Excel. It's just written differently. So that's about SQL and Python. What else do we have? Google Data Studio. This is similar to Power BI. It's built on Google Sheets. Of course, everything is going to the cloud and online. So this is Google's idea of managing, analyzing, and visualizing data. And then finally, let me talk about Spark. Okay, I think I mentioned R before. Spark is a programming language built on Excel as well. Now, the next question is why Excel? If you notice when I talked about the different languages, I kept mentioning built on, similar to, an advanced. Power BI is advanced Excel. Tableau and Power BI are basically the same. SQL is like taking the Excel and turbocharging it, SQL and Python. Google Data Studio, Google took their Google Sheets, which is similar to Excel, and then brought in analytics into it. Spark is built on Excel. So why Excel? That's the next question. Even though Excel is familiar and widely used, Excel is the most widely used data analytics software. And it forms the foundation for every other thing data analytics. I don't care whether it's Python, whether it's Tableau. Once you get into it, if you know Excel and you get into those things, that's, oh, this is like that. This one is like that. This works like that. This code is written like. You have that like Excel. But in spite of that capability in Excel, Excel is very widely used. And what do I mean familiar? When you open the Excel interface, you see that it's similar to other Microsoft interface, whether it's Word or PowerPoint that you have used. So when you open the interface, it's not strange like an SQL environment. It's a bit familiar because most of us use Microsoft programs. And of course, most of us here use Excel. So there's that familiarity. Even if you've been using Word, you've never used Excel before. When you open Excel, you see the ribbons, it looks like Microsoft Word. So there's that familiarity there. Now, it's powerful, yet easy to learn. Of course, somebody in this class say, what do you mean easy to learn? Trust me, it's easy to learn. Just give it the time, give it the attention. Put a command where there's a command, write the function properly. You find Excel does the rest of the work for you. It's easy to learn. It's excellent for data cleaning and exploration. Now, I've said this too many times. It's the foundation for more advanced tool, whether it's Python, SQL, Power BI, is the foundation for more advanced tools. So I don't think it's proper way of learning. If we skip basics, I want to do the advanced, like Excel class. I know some people have done some of these Excel basics before, but for the benefit of everybody, those who have never opened Excel before or those who have a little Excel knowledge, we'll do the basics and then we'll go into advanced. So you can bear with me to go through some of the basics. The same way Excel is the foundation for some of the other advanced tools. So we can't jump into Python without learning the basics in Excel. It's like telling a 1-year-old child to drive a car. That is too advanced. He can play with his toy car. By the time he grows older, they buy him a small toy that goes in the compound. When he's 18, 16, or 15, he can start driving a car. So we'll take it one step at a time. And then it's suitable for real life business scenarios. Now, Excel gives you, the learners, immediate and practical value. There are things you will learn today that you will use in the workplace tomorrow. There are things you will learn today, you use it next week. So you get immediate value from learning Excel. Okay, I'll go to just, why does Excel fit in? What are the things you can do with Excel? Number one, data entry. Even if you've never used Excel before, you can just open a new worksheet and start typing in data. Excel makes it easy to enter data. Now, not only can you type in data into Excel, you can actually extract data from a website or a database and extract it into Excel. An online source, an offline source, you can extract data and bring it into Excel. So it's not all the data you need to type into Excel. You can actually extract data and bring it to Excel, clean and analyze. So I talked about data cleaning before, removing duplicates. Some of us registered for this program 2-3 times, but you didn't get 2-3 emails from me because it was easy for me to just say remove duplicates. So those of you who registered 3 times, I just simply removed duplicates and you left only one registration for you. So that's some beautiful thing you can do with Excel. Filters, formatting. Okay, for example, I wanted to find out how many people registered from Abuja, which is important for me. I just simply filtered the result because I asked you to put in location. Once I filtered, it showed me how many people, I know exactly how many people registered from Abuja, how many people registered from Minna, how many people registered from Lagos, how many people registered from Port Harcourt, filtering. Then, of course, formatting helps you to put the data in a way that is legible, easy to read. All of those we are going to touch. Formulas and functions. Now, I don't know if you are familiar with Excel functions. We are going to dive into very many of them. As at the last count, there are close to 600 functions in Excel. Now, let me tell you the truth. You don't need to learn the 600. One, that's the first thing I'll tell you about formulas and functions. You don't need to learn the 600. We are going to dive into it. Two, if you start learning formulas and functions in Excel, if you learn enough, any other one you meet, you'll be able to sort it out. If you know how to build one formula, maybe some if function, you will know how to build the average if function. If I teach you some if, I don't need to teach you average if. Once you understand how to build one function, what are the prompts? What is Excel requesting of you? Once you understand the building blocks, it's like if I can build a 4-story building, you know I can build a 5-story building. If I can build a 5-story building, you know I can build a bungalow. The question is, what is Excel requiring of me? Oh, I need blocks, I need a roof, I need wiring. So forgive me, I'm from the construction background, so my example often comes from there. But what I'm saying is, if you know how to build one house, use some Excel function, you find it easy to learn other functions. Yes, there may be 1 or 2 learning curves with some of the advanced functions. But once you know the basics of building a function, using the function dialog box, the function arguments, understanding what they mean, you'll be able to build more functions in Excel. It's not like we're going to learn 600 and something functions or 400 and something functions. No. By the time we've gone through enough functions, any new function you meet, and let me mention, by the way, every new Microsoft software, Microsoft 2024, 2025, every new version of Microsoft, they usually add more functions. So there's nothing like, I know all the functions in Excel. 1, then 2, you don't need to know all the functions. I'll tell you this straight up. There are many accounting functions I don't know because I don't usually do accounting as you were. But I know more of the engineering and mathematical functions. So if you're an accountant, you might tend towards the accounting functions, but you don't need to know all the functions. There are functions that are very important for you. Those are the ones you should focus on and learn. Now, what else is important in Excel? Pivot tables. A lot of people say, pivot table. Let me tell you ahead, pivot table is an easy thing. Easy peasy. You can learn pivot table in a short while and you can do amazing things with pivot tables than pivot chart. It's not as difficult as some people want to make it seem. Of course, I talked about charts. It summarizes a lot of data for easy visualization. Power Query and VBA for automation. Now, let me tell you what automation means. If you have tasks you repeat again and again and again, you can automate them in Excel. Most people don't know. You can automate if you need to import certain data, format this, highlight this, clean this, and you do it repeatedly. Let's say a function you do every day. At the end of the day, you must submit a certain report. You can automate some certain part of it. With VBA, because Power Query as well will help you there. Okay, now as we round up this first section, which is introduction to data analytics, what are the key roles for data analyst? I just put 4 key roles that if you become a data analyst, that you could find yourself. All very useful roles and very lucrative roles, I must tell you. First is the data analyst. Your business is to bring insights from data, analyze data and bring insight. You help people make data-driven decisions. Now, business analyst, very little difference from what you use the word general data analyst. The reason being that they work strictly with businesses to help businesses make better decisions from their business data, whether it's income, whether it's sale, whatever decision the business needs to make. The business analyst helps them to make decisions. Now, a lot of us hear the word ROI, return on investment. That kind of decision, you don't just make it, oh, I like this business, I go into it. No, somebody must analyze the business and be sure that we'll get return on investment. Why should we put 100 million in a business that is not going to bring any return on investment? That's the job of the business analyst. The data scientist, we understand science, people who test hypotheses, they bring in theorems and the rest. That's the work of a data scientist. He sets up systems and algorithms that help people to mine and get the right data. When we talked about the data analytics cycle, we talked about asking the right questions and gathering the right data. A data scientist helps you to do that, same as a data engineer who builds systems and automation that help you get data, so that instead of manually getting data, you can have a system that automatically sources data online. When somebody buys from your shop, the information they put to buy, oh, city, location, age, sex, your data engineer can build a system that can extract those information, and then you can take them and make decisions based on them. Okay, let me quickly run through some of the things we'll cover. This is not exhaustive. Let me run through it so that we can start actually covering them. Of course, introduction to Excel, working with rows and columns. You will understand them, don't even worry. Entering data. Let me say, but I enter data into Excel. What I've realized is so many people, there are faster ways of entering some of the data you've been entering, like numbers and series. That's that. Formatting. It's easier to read letters than to read numbers. So how do you make numbers presentable so that people can easily read it? It's by formatting. And then we are going to move on to basic calculations. We're going to do some basic and some advanced calculations. Then there's find and replace. We're going to touch charts, printing, remove duplicates, sort and filter, of course, and a few other things. Now, how much we cover, trust me, depends on how fast we learn. When we start covering these things, I'm going to allow the mics to be open so that I get some instant feedback. But I usually will not be able to take all the questions so that the class can go forward. So these are some of the things we'll cover in this introductory section. And like I said at the beginning, we're going to be here for 4 weeks, 4 Wednesdays. So today is day 1, next Wednesday, except something comes, but we are going to be here for 4 classes. Trust me, if for some reason a class doesn't hold, trust me, I'm going to cover the 4 section. I'm going to repeat it. Now, more ways to learn. As I finish this section, my first 30 minutes, it's 25 minutes into my first 30 minutes to cover this section. More ways to learn. This class recording will be posted on YouTube latest tomorrow morning. After this section, I'm going to post everything we've done. That's the same thing with all the videos. So go to YouTube and find Elevate 360 with Ken Ugbebo. Please like and subscribe. I need to know that, yes, the people in my class who went to YouTube, like my page and subscribe. But of course, the class will be there. I'll post the class on that same page on YouTube. So when you get there to replay this class, just like and subscribe. Let's grow my YouTube channel. I would really appreciate if we can do that. Now, I have an Udemy course, the Excel Advantage. Of course, knowing Excel has an advantage. Absolutely, it has massive advantage. So please stop by Udemy. You can pick up my course. Some of the things we are going to cover here are covered there and much more than we are covering here. It's a full Excel course on Udemy. The title of the course on Udemy is the Excel Advantage. I know some of us already learn on Udemy. I learned some things on Udemy too. So if you don't already learn on Udemy, you can get much more than we are covering here on Udemy. My course on Udemy is called the Excel Advantage. And then finally, I want to say here, I have private and group classes, maybe your office or individually, live classes for now in Abuja and Minna. In Abuja and Minna. So if you are interested in live classes, basic, intermediate, and advanced classes, and maybe special classes, more ways to learn. The recording will be available, the Udemy course will be available, and then I have live classes. Some people say, I don't like learning on the computer. Others say, oh, I don't have a computer to practice. No problem. Live classes are much easier and better, even if we need to make systems available. Abuja and Minna, for now, we can have live classes in those places. And then more things to learn. If you are somebody who, if they invite you to come and speak, you want the grant to tell so that you enter, you shouldn't be that. Effective communication and public speaking, how well you speak will determine how far you go in life. Trust me on that. I've done this for more than 5-6 years, and I know how much people's life get better when they're able to express themselves better in public. Public speaking, project management, team building, and organizational effectiveness. This is usually for companies. Of course, personal development courses. So those are some of the things, more things to learn. We keep learning. Somebody says if you stop learning, you start dying. So there are more things to learn. Of course, I'm sure by now we all have my contact. That's my email. That's my phone number. So this brings me to the end of introduction to data analytics. And of course, I've explained to you what data analytics is, getting insight from data, like mining data. Mining, just like extracting crude oil. It's useless if you don't extract and refine it. The same way, there can be data, but if you don't extract it, if you don't analyze it, it's useless because you can't make data-driven decisions. And we went down to different tools. We considered different tools. we consider 4 types of data analytics: prescriptive, descriptive, diagnostics, and then we went down to different tools used in data analytics. And I told you the foundation is Excel. That's why we asked the question, why Excel? So finally, we have told ourselves what I think we are going to cover. So from here, I'm going to close this slide and we are going to enter the Excel interface. Now, if you have the slides I sent, which I hope you downloaded, I need you to open up your slide. Now, of course, we are going to start with slide 1. We're going to start with slide 1. Okay, no problem. You get the recording, trust me. We're going to start with what is the slide 1, introduction to Excel. And that's quite important. I know some people say, but I already use Excel. I know you use Excel, but if you don't understand the entire Excel interface and the capabilities of Excel, you might be using Excel like somebody who has a car that has 5-speed gears. The main we understand it. You only use gear 1 and gear 2. You are grinding the engine, you are not going anywhere. So you are going to learn the different about the interface of Excel generally. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to stop sharing that slide and I'm going to share my slide 1. So if you have downloaded your worksheets, please open them up. Let's start with Introduction to Microsoft Excel. That's my sheet 1. Okay, now, if you can unmute, you can just let me know if you can hear me. Yes, can you see my slide? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can see it.
Sir. You can see
Yes,
it.
we can see it.
Yeah, I can see the slide.
Thank you.
Yes, I can
Friday.
Good
Friday,
evening.
good to see you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Patience, thank you for staying with us. Show do care.
But it's
Thank
very faint, we cannot see only Excel,
Okay.
Microsoft Excel that is bold. The rest are very faint up there.
Don't worry.
Yes, you have to zoom in. Zoom your screen.
Okay, thank you
All
for the
right,
feedback.
all right, all right.
Needed
Okay.
feedback.
It's all
Okay.
right.
Please, sorry, which version of Excel is this?
Okay, this should be 2023, likely. But what I said was, if you have from 2016, no, easy. What version do you have? Anything from 2016, you can do everything everybody else can do. Don't even, anything from 2016.
So 2013 cannot do it.
Justice for 2013 people.
You can do most of the things we can do in this basic class. Okay, let me tell you what the difference is. You know, I explained to you that every new version of Excel comes in with more functions, right?
Yeah.
So there are some functions in 2023 that are not in 2013. They are not even in 2016. One is we are not covering those functions in this class. Trust me, those are advanced functions. So even if you are 2013, there's justice for you. Are we good? All right. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for the feedback. So I'm going to leave the mics open for now. But if you are not saying anything, you can just mute your mic. So the class has been quite quiet, and thank you all very much for you all found a quiet place. I'm in a very quiet place. So thank you all very much for cooperating with us. So I'm going to run through this sheet. And the good thing why I'm going to run through is that there are some trivia here. There are some information I will just point to you. Now, if you don't know this information, you can use Excel. But like I explained earlier, you will not maximize Excel if you don't know some of this information. So please just listen carefully. Like I said, you can play back this video. Now, some things I will not bother reading because everybody on this workshop, can read. So you can read some of this trivia, some of this information for yourself. So I won't bother reading. So let me go to my slide, page 1. Excel is primarily designed for you to do calculations and visualization. Of course, the calculation is the analysis. The visualization are things like your chart that shows what you have analyzed in very compact form. Now, it has many features. There are many things you can do with Excel. Some of them we'll start to do. Now, like I said earlier, it has a micro programming language called Visual Basic for Application. That's what we call VBA. It's a micro-programming language, but it's powerful. It does a lot. Now, what are the things Excel is used for? Like I mentioned earlier, accounting. Now, these are the things I will not bother to deal with. You can always read this trivia. It's just for your information. Accounting, office administration, whether you are doing payroll or doing nominal role, doing attendance, doing postings, you can use Excel for that. What is data visualization? Powerful in Excel. Data management, one place you can keep your data. To mention that at a point in time, your data, when it gets too large, Excel cannot handle it. But before you get there, you must know the volume of data you are dealing with. Programming, I talked about VBA earlier, so that's programming in Excel. And I've already mentioned accounting and data visualization. Now, let me go through some of these trivia, some things that if you know, you understand the power of Excel. So for those of us who have our system open, we should be on the page called trivia. I need to know that you are there. Feedback will be very useful at this time. Are you on the page called trivia?
Yes, yes,
Yes, sir.
Okay, now
Yes.
I need to look at, okay, point number 2. You can read a lot. I need to look at point number 2, something that's very important there. Point number 2. Let's read total number of rows and columns in the worksheet. Now, from 2013 coming forward, of course, Excel has grown. It's still at the same number, 1,048,576 rows by 16,384 columns. I hope you understand what that means. If you look on the left, can you see the numbers 1, 2, 3?
yes.
On the left of your worksheet, the numbers.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, now what Excel is saying, I actually clicked on the cell called A1. I'm going to talk about A1 later. What Excel is saying is, if you keep going down, 1, 2, 3, you will have 1,048,000 rows. So let me tell you what it means. It means that if you are writing an attendance list and you have 1 million people in the attendance list, one page in Excel can take all the 1 million names, just one page, from up going down. So the number, you can go 1 million up to 1,048,000 rows. Now let's do something, please. Click on the very first cell by the corner. It's called the cell A1. I'm going to talk about it very soon. Click on it. Have you clicked on it? I need to hear yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
now
sir.
this is
Yes.
for those of us who don't have our practice materials. When you get your practice materials, you can follow us to practice. Now hold your control button and press the down arrow. Tell me the number you see at the bottom quickly. Control. You know the down arrow, the 4 direction arrows, right?
1,048,576.
Okay, now thank you very much. Did you know we saw that figure up before, right?
Yes.
This is the bottom. This, if you hold a page, 4 corners, this is the bottom of your Excel worksheet. Now hold your control and press the up arrow. It brings you back again to the top. Are we back to our cell A1?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now hold your control and go right. Hold control and go right. Tell me what you see. For those of you who have used the cell before, who've been in my classes, this is where we start from. This is SFG. Okay, now let me explain something about SFG. Where we move from, we were on cell A, B, C, D, right? Now, how many letters do we have in the alphabet? How many letters do we have in the alphabet?
3, sir.
26.
26.
Thank you. So when Excel goes from A to Z, it has only 26 letters in the alphabet. So what Excel starts to do is to combine 2 of the letters of the alphabet. So after Z, you have AA, then AB, AC, all the way to AZ. Then you have BA, BB, BC, all the way to BZ. It keeps repeating 2 letters of the alphabet combined together. Then when it gets to ZZ, it starts repeating 3 letters of the alphabet, AAD, all the way to get the total of the number of rows of 16,384 columns. I'm going to talk about rows and columns very soon. So this is the number of cells, of columns and rows in a cell. Now, when you multiply this cell by this, the rows by the column, you get the total number of cells. We'll get to that soon. Now, what else do I want to show us? You can read a lot of this. Now, please look at point number 6. I need to show us something there. Do I have somebody who reads a lot here? You like reading books, right?
Yes.
On the average, how many characters make up a book? Does anybody know? A book, how many characters? A small novel, let me say medium-sized novel, how many characters? Okay, let me help us. About 20,000 words. Huh? Look at point number 6. You know, when you click a cell in a cell and you start typing, you can type something like, say my name, Kenneth, right? Just 7 characters. But what this number 6 is saying is that a cell can hold 32,767 characters. Do you know how large that is? That is a book. I'm not saying one page in a cell. I'm saying one cell in a cell.
One cell.
Yes, do we understand that?
Yep.
One cell can hold that much character as a book. That's one cell. Now, something else that you need to notice here. Point number 8, the number of worksheets in a workbook. When you open the older version of Excel, usually some start with 3 worksheets, others start with only 1 worksheet. But you know, the number of worksheets you can have in a workbook is unlimited by Excel. The only thing that will limit you is the capacity of your computer. If I have any computer geek, you understand what I mean. If your memory and your RAM size is not very large, your computer will stop slowing down when you keep adding more sheets and more data inside one Excel workbook. I hope you understand that. So even though on this my worksheet, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 worksheets in this workbook. Okay, let me explain that the way. When we were growing up, there used to be 40 leaves, right? One book, some are 40 leaves, some are 60 leaves, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Excel. One book in Excel, one workbook can have 40 pages. Those are what we call the sheets. Can actually have 100 sheets. That's nothing. You are only limited by the capacity of your computer. So if you need to put 1,000 sheets and you have a high capacity computer, you can put 1,000 sheets inside one workbook. So it will not be like those thick back notebook that have many leaves. So that is that. What else do I need to, okay, you can read out the rest. You can read out the rest. Just read through them. Read through them. Those are trivias. Now let me talk about the interface, which is pretty important. I'm going to annotate some part of this worksheet so that we can tell what I am talking about. Just give me a minute. Let me get my annotation. Okay, now the Excel interface, like I said when we were doing the introduction, the Excel interface is like, it's a bit familiar because it's like the Microsoft, it's the regular Microsoft interface. So it's not really like it's strange, but the ribbons and the tools in Excel are different from the ribbons and the tool in Microsoft Word. So let's start with the tabs. On top are the tabs. Now I am annotating the tab. Can we see that?
Yes.
I just highlighted what is called the tabs. Now each of these tabs are shortcuts to certain functionalities in Excel. I just drew a line around the tab, if you can see that, right? So they are like, all your tools are found in each of these tabs. But if you look at my tab, it may be a little different from your tab. I'm very sure of that. Most people don't have this particular tab here.
Yes.
What did I just, you don't have it, right?
Yes.
Okay, it's an advanced tool in Excel. Like I said, when you start doing programming and VBA, that tab shows up. It's a way to put it. So we won't get into it in this class. So don't worry about it. It's in your Excel, just that we are not doing VBA, so you don't have what is called a developer tab. Now, let me also explain something about this tab. When you start doing some certain work in Excel, there are certain things that are not showing up on your tab now. They will show up. And those things are called context menu. Now, context menu means that if you are dealing with certain things, some things show up to help you deal with them. Now, let me give you an example to make you understand. If I drew a shape like a bus, to be able to format the shape, there's a context menu called design or format shape, depending on the version of Excel you are using. Or if I'm working on pivot tables, or I'm working on tables, there's a context menu that's not showing up on this, our tab right now, that will show up. So that's about that for context menu. When we start using certain things, you are going to get to know it. Now, beyond that are the ribbons. Now, the ribbon contains different groups. Now, let me highlight that so that we can see. There are different groups. I just highlighted the first group. What's that group called? I highlighted a group. What's it called?
Clipboard.
Clipboard. I hope you have that on your system, right? It should be there.
Yes.
Okay, now everything around there is for copying and pasting, generally. Copying, cut, paste. But there's one tool there called the Format Painter. I just highlighted the tool, Format Painter. We're not going to deal with it now. It's a very powerful tool. It's in Microsoft Word, it's in Excel, it's in PowerPoint. We're going to deal with it when we get to formatting. Just note it. So that is your clipboard group. Now the next group is the font group. Everything that has to do with formatting your font. Are you, please mute yourself, mute yourself. We are not on another call. We are on this call.
Just drop my letter.
All right.
Then drop it. It's not yours.
Nicole.
Learn to.
It's okay. I done already, but the letter was just leaving her.
Hello, can you mute yourself? Please. Okay, so the next group is the alignment group. Now, what is alignment? When we're in youth service, they say take dressing to the left or take dressing to the right, if you remember, right? So it determines where your information is aligned to in your cell or your text box. Where is it aligned to the top, bottom, left, or right? Now, those can, when we get to formatting, we are going to do alignments, but those can make or break your Excel worksheet when your tests are not properly aligned or formatted. I spoke about the context menu earlier. Quick access toolbar. Now, let me show us the quick access toolbar quickly. Now, on top of your worksheet, at the very top, can we see my quick access toolbar? I just clicked on the drop down. Can we see the drop down I clicked on?
Yes.
Can we? Okay, that is your quick access toolbar. Now, let me explain what quick access means. If there are certain tools you use consistently, save, undo, redo, new, open, any of those tools that you use completely, you can simply check it. Now, to be sure that you are seeing my screen, what are the things that are checked on my quick access toolbar? What are things checked? Let me.
New,
Save, undo,
save,
redo.
email, quick print,
No,
print,
save,
review,
undo, and redo.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello.
redo.
Okay. Yes.
Save,
Somebody said
undo,
save,
and redo.
undo. Those are the things that are checked.
Yes.
What that means is those are the things showing up in my quick access toolbar. So if there's any other thing here that I use quickly, I will check it. Let's say, for example, I send email from my Excel worksheet consistently. I will check my email. Can you see that my email is checked now? Now, once I check the email, it shows up in my quick access toolbar. Can we see my email here now?
Yes.
So it shows, those are things you use quickly. Now, I need to move on to the formula bar. This is one of the most important bars in Excel. Let me cycle it. Can we see that?
Yes, sir.
That's called the formula bar. For those who are used to Excel, this is the easiest place to impute your data. But if you've used Excel for a long time, you can impute your data directly into the cell. But if you're having a challenge imputing your data or your functions into the cell, you click on the cell and you come to the formula bar and you, let me just type enter data. Once you type it into the formula bar, you click enter, it goes into the cell you had selected before typing. I need to use a phrase I'll remind you of later. Select to effect. When I teach a cell, particularly live classes, I see people make this mistake. They want to type into a certain cell, but they don't even check where they are clicked on. They start typing and the data appears somewhere else. Or they want to format a cell, they click somewhere else and they start formatting. No. To effect any part of a cell, you must select it. Select to effect. If you don't select it, nothing you do will affect those set of cells. So that's that for the formula bar. Now let me talk to you about the status bar. I'm going to highlight the status bar at the bottom of my worksheet. It's going to be blank for most of us. Can we see my status bar? I just highlighted it. Now, let me tell you why this is important for you to know. It's part of the interface. When we start doing calculations, once you select a group of data, you see certain informations down here. Let me take, for example, I just selected 5 rows of data. What's the information in my status bar? Somebody, can you see that? There's a figure that showed up in my status bar.
5 count.
You know what it's telling me? It's just telling me I selected 5 things. Now, if it's a number, if it was numbers I selected, it will show me the count, it will show me the average, it will show me the sum. Now, let me just tell you what I mean. Let me put in 3 numbers, 23, 45, 55. Okay. Let me select 3 of them. Can we still see my status bar? What do we see there now?
Yes,
There's
show
average.
the average count
Average
three
count
and from 133.
Oh, now that status bar, it just shows you basic analysis of the data you selected without you doing anything. But the question is, what determines what a cell shows you? Apart from the type of data, when I selected test, it couldn't add test together. But when I selected my add, apart from that, when you right-click on the status bar, you see this drop down that shows you where to customize your status bar. The same way we customize the quick access toolbar. Anything you check here will show up if the data you selected has that feature. You can add number, but you cannot add text. Has anybody done right-click on their status bar? And you can see the drop down. Has anybody gone through that? Hello? Did anybody click on their status bar? Right-click.
Yes, sir.
Right-click.
Yes, sir.
I need to hear more yes. Okay, there are 2 yes.
Yes, yes.
If you right-click on your status bar, it gives you the opportunity to customize your status bar. So you want average to show up, you want count to show up, you want some information to show up, you click on it. Once you check it, it will show up in your status bar. Okay, then zoom bar. Now I'm going to talk about zoom in 2 ways. Yeah, I talked about status bar. On the far right, bottom right, I'm going to highlight it. I just drew a box over it. Can we see it on the bottom right corner?
Yes, sir.
Bottom right.
Yes.
There's a plus and a minus there. And above it, there's a bar. Can we see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now that's for our zoom.
Yes, sir.
If you click on the minus, you are zooming in. You are zooming out, sorry. As you see my text is getting smaller. When you click on the plus, you are zooming in. But trust me, I rarely use this. Hello?
Hi.
I don't have the time to be clicking plus and minus. Either I click this square in the middle or this rectangle in the middle and drag it, right? Up or down. I don't have time to be clicking plus and minus, but if you are new, you can click plus and minus, but I'd rather click and drag up and down, but there's actually a faster way. If you hold your control button and scroll your mouse, how many people are using their mouse here? Or most of you are using laptops, right? Control,
Yes,
pinch and open or pinch and close. You know the way you zoom a picture on your phone? if you hold your control, you pinch, I'm using a laptop, so it's the same thing. If you pinch and open with 2 fingers, right? You zoom out. If you go in, you zoom in. But for me, it's faster with my mouse. Once you hold your control and scroll, it zooms in and zooms out. Have we tried that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now the last 2 I'll show us on this page, and then I'll talk about shortcuts. I just highlighted 2 bars, the vertical scroll bar and the horizontal scroll bar. This is the horizontal scroll bar. It moves your text left and right. Now, this is the vertical scroll bar. It moves your text up and down. So that will help you move around. Now, the next thing I want to talk about quickly is shortcuts. I just want to say we are going to use the shortcuts as we go. We are not going to stop and say we are learning shortcuts. The way I showed you that to zoom in and out, you hold your control and scroll your mouse. It zooms in and out. It's the same way we'll be learning shortcuts. Now, some of the shortcuts here are similar to the shortcuts in Microsoft Word. So if you already use Control-C for copy, Control-V for paste, Control-S for cut, Control-Z for undo. Do we know some of those shortcuts in Microsoft Word?
Yes.
They work here exactly the same way. They work exactly the same way. But there are some shortcuts here that work differently from Microsoft Word. We're going to use them and then we are going to learn them. Now, the final thing I want to talk about here before I go to the next page is what I highlighted, the cell address. The cell address. Now, if you click on the cell address, I'm going to highlight a place. Tell me what you see there. Click on the cell address on your own computer. Tell me what you see in the place. Can you see the place I just highlighted blue?
Yes.
What do you see there?
B13.
Fine. If you click somewhere else, what happens to that number?
Change.
It changes. Now, okay, it's like when I ask people for location, somebody wrote Abuja, somebody wrote Lagos. That is your address, let's say generally speaking. Now, that number that is changing is called the cell address. That determines where a cell, where your cursor is at a point in time. Now, when you select a range of cells, your cell address only shows where you are starting your selection from. It doesn't show, oh, I selected this cell and that cell and that cell. Now, why is the cell address very important, particularly for class, even while you are working? It's also important. Let me tell you the 2 reasons. When we start working, I'm going to say to somebody, click on cell C13. You need to know where C13 is. And what does C13 mean? If you remember when we started, when we were looking at the rows and columns, which we are going to go back to, we said that the row starts from 1 to how many rows do we have? Can somebody remember? 1,048,000. Then the columns over 16,000. Let me just mention this for somebody to help somebody. The rows are the ones that are vertical. The columns are horizontal. Now, and from the construction background, let me mention that again. In a building, if there's any construction engineer here, we call the pillars columns actually, right? So the ones that are standing are called the columns. So standing ones are called columns. That's how because usually people can mix rows and columns. They don't know whether a rows is one line horizontal or the rows are vertical. So once you remember pillar is standing straight. So the rows are horizontal, the columns are vertical. So this your C13 means that it is along column B. B for me now, I'm on B14, column B and row 14. So the intersection of that row and that column gives me the cell B14. So let me go back. I just moved to cell A1. It means that I am on column what am I on? If my cell address is cell A1, I'm on column what?
Column 1.
Column A.
Column A and row what?
Row 1.
Row 1. Okay, fantastic. So now I'm going to go somewhere. Somebody's going to, you remember how do we move to the bottom of the Excel worksheet? Somebody remind us.
Control and arrow.
Control and
down.
down
Okay,
arrow.
let's all go control down arrow. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
What's the cell address? A1 million and all those drama.
8576.
Okay, now control right arrow.
XFD 1,485,076.
Okay, that's Abdulaziz, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Abdulaziz, do you know where we are in the worksheet now? Where are we in the worksheet?
We are in column XFD.
Row 1 million.
Row
So that is
1,485,000.
bottom. Yeah, that's the bottom right corner. You understand, right?
Yeah.
Bottom. So can we get back to the bottom, to the top left corner? Top left with two movements.
Yes.
Control left
up.
and control up. It takes us back to cell address A1. What we've just done is we've like gone to the end of Excel and come back to what we should call the beginning, because this is the first cell A1 and that is like the last cell in a cell. So that is about cell address. Now my final worksheet on this page, I'm not going to take time on it. I'll just mention a few things. We've done a lot of them, a lot of reading to be done here. I'll leave you to do that reading in your own time. Let me see what I just want to mention. Formulas and function. Let me just draw your attention to that. Why do I use the word formulas and at the same time I use the word function? Just understand it from here. A formula is an expression that it operates on the range of values in a cell and it's inbuilt in a cell. Inbuilt. Like when we say, oh, there's the different types of functions in a cell that does, some does average, some does sum. They are inbuilt into a cell. And when we get to our next section, as we go forward, we start to use them. Formulas and functions. They are the things that make a cell powerful. Now I'm going to pause 1 hour of class and just allow, let me say 1 or 2 questions before I move to the next. While I'm going to the sheet 2, working with rows and columns, I'm going to allow 1 or 2 questions quickly. Thank you all for being very nice students. It's been quite quiet. So do I have 1 or 2 questions? We've done our first 1 hour of class and it's been good. Is anybody getting value for your time?
Of course, sir.
I'm stopping some people from scrolling.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
I'm stopping some people from scrolling Facebook or doing TikTok this evening. So you must get value for your time. Huh? So I still have about 70 people on the call, which is quite fantastic for a turnout. So I'm going to continue from here. So let's deal with understanding Excel. Then we are going to move on to other matters. So like I said to us earlier, depending on the version of Excel you are using, when you open a new worksheet, some you have 3 default worksheets, some you have a single worksheet. So what if you need more worksheets? What if you need to move things up and down? That's what we are going to deal with in this section, working with rows and columns. Like I explained earlier, the rows are the vertical element. So the rows are the horizontal element, the columns are the vertical element. Now, if you look on this worksheet 2, working with rows and columns, I moved on to worksheet 2. Do we all have our worksheet open? Let me just ask.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm on sheet 2. Now, the first thing you see on your page are these crosses. I will not dwell or explaining the cross one after the other as you will, but we are going to start our class. In the course of the class, we will use these crosses, and then you are going to understand the cross. Even if I explain the cross, I've learned from the experience that explaining them one by one, people don't really get it. But when you start using them, you now say, okay, this is the one for select. You now say one for move. copy, insert row, adjust rows, adjust columns, select entire rows, select entire columns. We are going to deal with them one by one. So let's start from inserting or deleting pages, rows, and columns. So if, for example, you open your worksheet and it gave you 3 worksheets or 1 worksheet, and you need to put in more worksheets. Why do you need more than 1 worksheet? Imagine you have 1,000 rows of data for today. Say 1,000 people came to your workplace to buy something today. You put them in today's date. Tomorrow, you may not want to put them right under today. You want to put it on a new page. Or January sales, 1 million rows of data. You put it on one sheet. You may not want to put February sales on the same sheet because after you go through 1 million rows of data, you don't even have a lot of space under. You only have 48,000 spaces. So you open a new worksheet. So you can actually have 10, 20, 100 worksheets in one workbook, like I said. So how do you insert another worksheet? Very simple. If you look at the bottom where you have these titles, cross, this is delete and insert, hide and unhide, hide rows, you will see a plus sign. Every Excel version has this plus sign. It's very conspicuous in 2030. Can we see our plus sign?
Yes, we
Can
can.
we see? If you click on it, tell me what happens. Somebody who, yeah, what did he give to you?
You
Click
take
on
it
the
to
plus.
the new sheet.
Gives you a new sheet. So sometimes you ask you, oh, some versions will ask you, what do you want to insert? New sheet. So it's labeled my sheet, sheet 1. And I can rename it.
Sis.
What did your own say?
Sheet 1.
Okay, sheet 1. Now, if you right click on sheet 1, you also have the option of insert. Now, this is where Excel will ask you, what do you want to insert? You want to insert a sheet, you click OK. Excel just inserted another sheet for me. So if you want 10 sheets, you can keep clicking your plus, plus, plus. Excel will keep inserting a new sheet. So that's the simple way of inserting a worksheet. Either you click the plus or you click, right click and insert the sheet. I'm going to delete these sheets because I don't need them. All I need to do is right click and then there's delete. I've deleted my sheet 2. I've also deleted my sheet 1. Now let me say something. If you have a sheet that has data in it, when you want to delete, Excel will warn you before it allows you to delete it. The reason being, once you delete a worksheet, it's not coming back. There's no recycle bin inside Excel. Do we understand that? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello? When you delete in a file, it goes to your recycle bin first of all, Abi.
Yes.
But
Yes.
in Excel, when you delete a page, it has no recycle bin. So that's why Excel will warn you before deleting. So now let me go to sheet 2 so that we can insert rows and columns. This one is very useful and very simple. I remember walking into somebody's office, saw the person struggling to drag data up and down because she forgot to insert a row somewhere in between 2 rows. So she was not dragging the data to one side so that there will be empty space. Not necessary. If you know what to do, you can insert your row anywhere. Of course, you can insert multiple rows if you so wish. I'm clearing out all my annotations first. Okay, now to insert rows in Excel is simple and straightforward. Now, you remember we've talked about our 1, 2, 3 and our ABCD. So those are our column and our rows numbers. Now,
Hello,
if you
Mr.
look,
Chair.
yes, please.
We can't see the video was this. Can you move your
Frozen.
cursor? Let me be sure the video is working now.
Okay, I am, okay, I'm scrolling up and down.
I can't see anything. It's not working.
It's not
Okay,
working,
who
sir.
else is
It's
not
on
seeing
the
my screen?
It's
same
not
thing, sir.
working. No.
It's on the
We
last
are not
video.
seeing
Not
it too.
working. Not working,
We
sir.
are not seeing it.
not working again.
Okay,
It
no
is
problem.
It's
Give me
frozen.
1 minute. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to share again.
Okay.
Let me stop sharing. All right. And then I'm going to share sheet 2. Let me see. Okay. Share. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
My sheet is better. Is the sheet back on?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Much better.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. If not, I'll be talking to myself. Okay, so I was talking about inserting rows and columns. Now, the reason why I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and A, B, C, D is to make it obvious to us when we insert a row or we insert a column. So if you look at between A, B, C, D, you see a tiny line in between the two of them. Put your mouse over the line between C and D. Tell me what you see. There's a line between C and D. Put your mouse over it.
The cross.
There's a cross. You know, I told you there are many crosses that we saw just now, right? Now, this is one of them. This one is specifically for inserting columns. So right click. Right click. If you scroll down to the middle, you see insert. Can we click on that? I just inserted a new column. Who has inserted a new column?
I have, sir.
Me.
Okay. Now that goes from top all the way to the bottom. That if you scroll down, you know that it goes all the way to the bottom. It's not as if you inserted. So that's a simple way to insert a new column. So please click undo. So undo takes us back to where we were before, right?
Yes, sir.
Is anybody having challenge inserting a single column? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Now, what if you want to insert 3 columns, 4 columns, 5 columns at the same time? It's the same thing. All we need to do is put your mouse over D. Put your mouse over D. Tell me what you see. Let me know.
Down arrow.
A down arrow. When you click on that arrow, what it does is it selects the entire column D from top to bottom. Huh?
Yeah.
From the top to the bottom. But that's not what we want to do. I want to select the entire column D and the entire column E and the entire column F. Can we all do that? Your mouse must be moving on top from D to E to F. It will select the entire 3 rows. Have we done that?
Yes, sir.
Has anybody been able to select 3? So right click on this your selection and insert. Tell us what happens. You know, some people are not practicing. So those of us that are practicing need to tell the people who are not practicing what is happening. So when
My
you
laptop is bad. I'm not using laptop. I'm just on phone.
okay, no problem. I'll share this recording. So when your laptop comes back, it added
3 more rows.
3 rows. So now that's how to add multiple columns. Somebody said 3 rows. Is it rows we added or columns?
Columns.
Column.
Added 3 columns.
Added columns.
Okay, columns. So that's what we added. Now, adding rows is similar. So what I want us to do, start from row B and select all the way to, row 4. Start from row 4. Select all the way to row 8. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. Have we done that? 5 rows. Have we done that?
Yes, we have.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so right click and insert. What has happened?
Sorry, please take that again.
Select from row 4. I'm talking about the rows now, not columns anymore. 1, 2, 3. Select from row 4. Your mouse should be over row 4. Drag it down to row 8.
Okay,
It will select the entire row.
I'm not using a mouse.
Okay, let me use my keyboard. I move my cursor to 4. 4 is, 4. Just after 4 is B, right? Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not saying you should. Don't put your mouse over the 4, click, and hold it down. That's left click. Now, if you're using your keyboard, left click, hold it down, and then drag on your keypad to 8. You should select 4. I'm not using my mouse right now. I'm using my keyboard. Sorry, my keypad on my laptop. Click
Okay.
on 4. You know, if you put your mouse over 4, there's an arrow pointing right. So when you click, it selects the entire row 4. Then when you drag it down using your keypad, it selects 4 all the way to 8. That's if you want to insert 5 rows. So once you right-click on your selection and insert, it inserts 5 straight up into a cell. So that's how to insert rows and columns. I need you to play with this and try it again. Now, let's go to hide and unhide. I think, okay, let me go to the last. Okay, yeah, let me hide and let me use. I have 2 sheets titled hide and unhide, but I want to use the last one. If you understand the last one, the one before it is simple. Do we understand how to insert rows and columns?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
we do,
I'm
sir.
moving forward to hide and unhide rows. Now, let me zoom out so that we can see this set of data. I have like, let me see, control down arrow. I have about 345 rows of data. And how many columns? Maybe over 26 columns. It actually stops at AA. So that means I have 27 columns, right? Now, to see this thing properly, assuming I want to enter new information, let me try and explain to us what is here. I have data for different people, their name, their country, and then some data set for different months of the year. It starts from January 2024 all the way to December 2025. Now let's assume I want to put in data for December, let me say January 26, January 2026. And I need to look up this information in a worksheet. It means that if I want to put in for Avis, I have to scroll right and type in the information. To find the name, I have to scroll left. Can we see the challenge with scrolling right and scrolling left? Has anybody faced this kind of challenge in their work?
Yes, yes.
You have to be scrolling right and scrolling left. Now, that's one of the benefits of being able to hide and unhide rows and columns. The other benefit is, it's possible I am working on this data. Let's say I'm HRO person, and I'm working on certain set of data, and the data includes some sensitive information about other employees that I don't want somebody in a different department to know. Let's say an accountant is working and somebody from HRO comes and they need to work on something. I don't want the HRO person or somebody from maybe marketing to know the salary of everybody in the office. But there's a salary column on my worksheet and I don't want to delete it. I can simply hide it. I will work on the data, and when the person is gone, I will hide it so that I'll see it. Now, this is what I'm going to do. Imagine I need to type data into my January 26 column that I just created. And I need to be picking up these names one by one to type the data, because all of them, they are not in alphabetical order. They are not in any order. The list is different from this. I can select all my data from January 2024 to December 2025 and hide all of it. It's quite simple, but let's start small. Let's say I don't want to see January and February 2024, all the way to the whole of 2024, for example. January to December 2024. You remember how we select from the top? Click on D, keep moving right, all the way to December 2024. If you right click and you scroll down, you can see hide. I need somebody to hide that and tell me it's done. Is somebody trying that?
Yes, done.
Okay, you've hidden
It's
your
done.
January to December 2024. Thank
Yeah,
you,
it's
I'll
done.
give the feedback. Okay, now, if you notice, Read the alphabets for me. Read the alphabets.
B, P,
A, B, C, and then what?
P.
Okay, you know why we are skipping to P, right?
Yes.
Because we are hiding
D
the
to
rest of those data. So for somebody who does not know, he can take this worksheet and not know that anything is hidden. And most people will not even notice anything is hidden. Trust me, if it's not you that hid it, you will likely not know. But now you also have the option to unhide it. Now let me explain like this. If you put your mouse, if you look at C to P, you see that that line is a little thicker, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
You know,
Yes.
so put your mouse over it. When you right click, you can see unhide. When you unhide, all the things you hid before will come out. Is that possible?
Yeah.
If you are having a challenge, let me know. I will just show you how. My own did not unhide. Okay. My own has jumped out now. Yeah, and now I don't still have all of them. Is it working?
Yes, sir. It worked for me.
Yeah, it's working.
Now let me explain
Work
something
for
to
me.
us. If, for example, you are not using your mouse and you cannot click on this white line between C and O, right? Select your C, select your O. You know that all the other alphabets are between C and O, right? Select your C,
Yeah.
select your O, which means that all the alphabets in the middle have been selected. Right click and unhide. Everything will pop out. If you are using your mouse, it's easy to click on the line and unhide. But if you are not using your mouse, I've realized that it can be challenging. Or if your mouse is not very sensitive, or I don't say very sensitive, or if your mouse is too sensitive, it will be jumping up and down. So having practiced that first one, let's select from row D all the way to row AA and hide everything. Now I'm going to zoom in after doing that. Have you done that? From D all the way to A8. That means you are selecting all the information already on this worksheet. So the next row after C will now be AB. Is it working?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So what this means is, now if I need to type in information for anybody, let's say number 4, Sal Maut, I just go to number 4 and type in, let's say 56. If I need to type in for number 27, Kala Dokri, I just click and I type in the information. I don't need to scroll left and right. Do you see the essence of hiding and unhiding? I just explained 2 reasons, right? If you don't want somebody who is working with you on the worksheet to see certain information, maybe people's personal details, date of birth, social security number, which is something they hide a lot in America, credit card details, salary, some certain information, you can hide those rows or those columns. Now, what I just taught you about columns also work with the rows. So I expect somebody to be playing with hiding rows. It's the same thing. You can play with that, or you can play with it after class. Hide and unhide rows as well. You can play with it. The same thing we learned is the same thing. So I just did unhide for all my rows and columns. Now, this same thing we've learned for columns, I said works for rows, right? I can hide and unhide rows, and also works for your sheets. I am taking sheet number 3 and I'm hiding it. Now, suddenly, instead of having 4 sheets, I now have 3 sheets. So if I want to bring it out, I need to click and unhide it. Now, let me say something quite advanced. We are not doing that in this class. You can hide column or hide sheet and put a password inside your Excel. They're not going into that. I just want to mention that for some future work. You can hide it. So it means that I can hide this worksheet, hide some rows in this worksheet, I'll send it to you. You cannot see the sheet. You will know that I'm hiding something. If you try to hide it, it will ask you for password. Those are advanced things when we start to deal with security features. But let me just mention that by the way. So that's for this working with rows and columns. We've done how to add rows, add single rows, add multiple rows, and then, of course, delete rows. Now let me see something. In my sheet number 3, let's say I want to delete, or let me use sheet number 4. Let's say I want to delete the country, the row country from this worksheet. It's very simple. If I click on C with the down arrow, what happens? Somebody?
You select.
The entire work. So I can right click and delete. My whole country, everything on that row is gone. But I don't want to do that, so I just click on undo to bring it back. Are we clear with that?
Yes.
Okay, now let me show
So
us.
do you mean everything on the column?
Sorry, thank you. Yes, everything on the column. Everything on the column. Everything on the column. Let me show you guys one shortcut that helps us. Now, what if I don't want to select everything on the column? Now, when I click on top, it selects the entire data from the top row 1 to row 1,048,000, right? What if I don't want to select the entire thing? I just want to select the data. Now, the long way of doing it is to click on, for example, Syria and start dragging down. We all do this, right?
Yeah.
I'm dragging it down, dragging. I'm dragging it as if it's owing me money. Can you notice I'm still dragging down? Now, I only have 300 and something rows here. I'm still dragging it down. Yes, 348 rows. I've dragged it to the bottom. Is anybody trying to drag it down?
Yes, sir.
Click on, okay. It takes some dragging to do. It takes some time to drag. And if you release your mouse, you lose your dragging. You have to click again and start dragging. Now, let's do a shortcut to select the entire set of data all the way to the bottom of the data, not the bottom of the row. Remember when we do control down, it takes us to the bottom of a series. Let's try that. Click on Syria and do control down. Tell me the country that is at the bottom. Control down. Tell me the country at the bottom.
Madagascar.
Fantastic. So let's control back up. What's the country on top?
Syria.
Syria. Now we are just moving control up and down. But now instead of going control up and down, hold control shift and then go down. Tell me what happened.
It's highlighted all down to Madagascar.
That is the fastest way of highlighting a long column or a long row. Now this works for rows as well. So if I want to select an entire, the data in an entire row, control shift right, I select everything. Is it working for somebody?
Yes.
I'm not getting into.
Okay, no problem. Let's go back to, are you on the column country? Can you click on Syria? So who said it's not getting it? Let me know who I'm dealing with now.
Yeah, it's Abdullah.
Okay, okay, Abdullah. All right. Are you on, did you click on Syria?
Yes.
Okay, hold your control and press. When you hold your control down, press your down arrow. Tell me what you see. What countries?
I'm using my laptop. What?
Yes. Your laptop have this.
Down.
Yes. You know these 4 buttons, these 4 arrows that go left, right, up, and down.
Yes, okay.
If you press your control, holding your control, don't remove your hand from the control. Press down. What country do you see?
You took me to the very last page. Oh, let me see.
Last page or last row?
Last row.
What country is there?
Let me do it again.
Okay. We started from
Madagascar.
Madagascar, that is the bottom country. And that is row what? Row number what is that?
348.
Row number and serial number 345. I just needed somebody to know that serial number and row number are two different things. So.
Yes, serial number 345.
Serial number is 345. That means we have 345 entries here. But the row number is 348. So control up again. It takes us back to the top, which is country, right?
Country, yes.
Click on Syria. I don't want to select countries. That country is the header. I want to select only the countries. So now hold your control and shift together. Press control, press shift with your left hand. What we are doing is control shift down. Control plus shift and down.
And
down arrow. Yes. It should select everything.
Takes me to everything, no?
Yes, it selects everything from the first country to the last country, 370 something countries. So now let me tell you the essence of this. We are not just playing. Huh? If you need to select 10,000 rows of data, when you click and you start dragging down, even your hand will be paining you.
Yes.
This is only 340 something rows of data. Imagine you have 10,000 rows of data. You don't have the time to click on the first country and be dragging it down. Now, trust me, 10,000 rows of data is small for Excel. Imagine one page has 1 million plus rows, right? 10,000 out of 1 million is small. So you will deal with 10,000 rows of data in data analytics. So to select all of that, what this trick does for you is instead of clicking and dragging, just click on the first, hold Control Shift, and then put your down arrow, it selects everything. So imagine I wanted to format all of this. I've already selected everything, and I can just make it. I just made all of them bold. It's a fast way of doing that. There's something I need to show us before I enter our last worksheet for today. Deleting worksheet. I showed us deleting worksheet. Now, just one small thing I'll show us, and then we'll leave here. Oh, two things here. That's why I put what we are covering. Selecting entire worksheet. Now, somebody click on cell A1 on any of your page. Click on cell A1. Have you clicked on cell A1?
Yes.
Okay, if you do Control A, it should select it. Because you have data, it will not. So just behind cell A1, there's a triangle. Click on it. Tell me what you see. You know, like behind above cell A1.
Selected the whole page, sir.
The entire worksheet. Now, why do I use this sometimes? You can start typing data in Excel. After a while, you've typed some things on the left, typed something on the right, and you want to clean out the whole worksheet. You want to type something fresh. This helps you to select the entire worksheet. Once you do delete, the sheet becomes brand new, right? This option helps you to select the entire worksheet. Now, Control A will work if you are inside the worksheet. But if you are inside a set of data, Control A will not work. It will select those set of data. But when you are inside the worksheet, the blank space, Control A will work. But if none of that is working, just click on this arrow behind cell A1. It selects the entire worksheet. Of course, you can delete everything in the worksheet. Now, why do you sometimes need to clean up your worksheet? If you have data hidden inside your worksheet and you don't know, and you start putting other data, when you start analyzing, those data you are not aware in the worksheet can give you issues. Because Excel is seeing the data. It does not know whether it was there by mistake or you added it. So it will analyze all of them for you. And then the final thing we'll do here before we go to our last worksheet, you guys have done well. Quite a number of people still on the call. I think it's been fantastic. Is coloring your worksheets. Right-click on any of the worksheet and scroll up to Color tab. Scroll up to Color tab. What do you see? What do you see? We rarely use this, but it's useful for certain things. Right click on any of the worksheets, scroll up to color tab. What do you see?
Yes, different colors, sir.
Different colors. Now, this helps you to color code your worksheets. Somebody will wonder, what's the essence of that? An accountant will understand that. If you decide that inflow, the worksheet capturing all our inflow, our sales, will be green because it's money coming into the company. You can color code it green. Worksheet carrying all our outflow, all the expenditure, will be red. You can easily color code it. So if you have 10 sheets, you don't need to be checking which one is in, which one is out. You can color code it. That's easy, but we don't do that often. But let me show you what you would do often. Did anybody try to color any worksheet?
Yes.
Okay, so once you put the color, like mine now, cross is now red, but that's not important. It's not very important, but let me teach you the one that you will use again and again. Now let me, you know this, the last page where we have hide and unhide, right? Hide rows, you know that last page, right? Imagine this data is for one location. My company has offices in Abuja, Port Harcourt, and let's say Lagos. All of this data is for the Lagos office. And I want to create another worksheet for Port Harcourt office and also enter data. It will be crazy after formatting the whole worksheet to start formatting all over again when I can take what looks like a template that I've created and duplicate it and then enter fresh data. So let's just, what I'm teaching us is how to duplicate worksheets. Huh? Right click, somebody, look for move or copy. Can you see move or copy?
Yes.
After we've done insert, which is a new sheet, we don't delete, we remove the sheet. We've done rename. Did I teach us rename? No. But rename is easy. I hope you see that my worksheet has name, right? When we added a worksheet, it showed us sheet 1. So rename, you can click on rename here or just double click and type any name you want. So click on move or copy. It shows you all the worksheets available in this workbook, and then it will ask you which one do you want to move or copy. I actually want to copy. So my sheet titled hide rows, I click on it. Can anybody see create a copy at the bottom? I need somebody who is working. Can we see create a copy? Click on it. Click on it. And then click OK. Tell me what happens.
It duplicates the sheet.
The sheets. So I now have hide rows 2, right? We have hide rows. Now I have hide rows 2. So I can simply double click on that name and type, I'll just type Abdul. Abdul, forgive me, I'm using your name for class. It's the thing that came to my head.
Hello, sir.
Okay, so I can't give it any name. Just double click or you click and say rename. So now this is the sheet I just added. So let's do something. I want to remove all the data inside this sheet. So I click on my 28. We are going to use a trick we have learned before. Huh? Control Shift, Abdul, are you with me? I click on 28. I want to remove the entire data instead of dragging up and down. Control Shift right. It selects the entire what? Rows or column, entire row, entire column.
Column.
Row.
Rows.
I'm still holding my Control Shift and I press my down. Now, what did I just select now?
The entire column. Control down.
So from up, all the columns from the beginning to the end, I've selected all of them. Has anybody tried this?
Yes, I just did.
So now if I click delete, all the data in my worksheet is gone. Right?
Yeah.
I still have the names, I still have the country. So I can start entering new data here. Now this helps you when you've created a template that works. Why do you want to start from scratch again? You can just duplicate the sheet, which is what we have learned, and then you put in new data. Now, interesting thing I just want to mention, the last sheet I created is actually behind the former sheet. I can just drag it to the end. That's arranging my sheets. I want the first sheet to be crossed, the second sheet to be delete and insert. Third sheet, I don't want this hide and hide. I don't even like the sheet itself. I don't want to see it. I can click it, drag it to the end. So that's me rearranging my sheet. So that's all about working with worksheet. Now I'm going to stop sharing this and share my last worksheet. Let's see what we can cover. That's entering data. Okay, we can do some things here before we close. Let me share that. Okay, share, entering data, share. Okay, let me know when you can see this. Okay, it's up. Can we see my third worksheet, entering data?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we are going to touch some things here and close here. 1 hour, 40 minutes, that's quite some time. We are going to close soon. Then next week, Wednesday, we are going to start from here. Now, this is important for everybody that uses Excel. You must know how to enter data. Now, some people say, but I've been typing data into Excel. Fantastic. But if there's a faster way of doing it, why don't you? That's why I put this section, entering data into Excel, before we get into formatting. So to enter data into Excel, you simply click on the cell and just type in. Like under numbers, I just clicked and typed 1. Then enter, takes me to the next cell under, and I type 2. Has somebody done that?
Yes,
sir.
Okay, now it's not a video. Can you all see my video?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Person that can't see my video.
We can see it.
We can
Okay, thank you. Okay, now this is no big deal, right? I keep typing 1, 2, 3. Let me tell you the truth. This is one of the things I learned in Excel, and I said, wow. When you start typing number, serial number down, 1 to 9 is easy, right? To 10 is easy. Once you cross 11, 12, it becomes crazy. You are doing like hand that is picking corn. You keep going up and down. It can be crazy. So, but Excel really makes it easier. When I found it in Excel, I said, wow, why didn't somebody show me this a long time ago? So I've entered number 1. Enter, I enter number 2. Now, can you select 2 of them together? Click on 1, drag it to 2. The 2 of them will be selected. Let me zoom in so that everybody is seeing my screen very clearly. Have we done that?
Yes.
Click on 1, drag to 2. Now, if you look on the bottom right, there is a black, what do you see? Let me not even tell you what you see. Bottom right of this green square, there's something at the bottom right.
Yes, there's an icon there. Yeah, an icon. Quick analysis.
No, above the icon, there's something else.
More like a square, a small square.
Like a dot.
Yes,
It's a green, small green dot.
More green, yes.
The small square box
There's
by the
a
corner
quick
of the
analysis there. Control plus quick.
It's not the quick analysis we are doing now. It's the small square we are interested in. We'll get to quick analysis in the future. Can you put your mouse over that square? Tell me what you see.
A cursor changes to cross.
A cross. The
It
cursor
says
changes.
the
Now,
number.
you know, I told you that there are many different types of crosses in Excel, right? As you start, we've used a lot of them. The one for clicking from all, the one from. So now click and drag down. Click and drag down. I want you to number 1 to 10. Tell me when you get to 10.
Okay, I get it.
When you get to 10, say 10.
10, sir.
10.
All right. Who else is in 10?
10.
Who cannot get to 10?
10.
Yes, thank you. 4 people have gotten to 10. Who cannot get to 10? Is there somebody who cannot get to 10? Okay, so now this is the fastest way of numbering normally in Excel. There's even something that's a little faster. Just a little faster in Excel. We are going to use it as well. So let me clean that off my screen. Okay, so that's for that. This is the fastest way of numbering in Excel. Now, if I need to increase from 10 to 20, all I simply need to do is to select my 9 and 10 and drag it down to 20. If you notice, when you are dragging down, the number will be counting by the side.
Yes.
Don't release your mouse until you get the number you want. You can keep dragging it up and down, no problem, until you unclick your mouse, Excel will not enter. So that's 1 to 20. This is entering what we normally call serial number, right? So if we are going to 100, we can easily go to 100. That's serial number. Now, this next column is not on your worksheet. We are going to try what we just learned. Now, I need you to, I'm going to delete mine. We are going to do it together. Right-click between C and D and insert a column. Can we do that together? Between C and D. This is how your own looks like. So let's right-click, insert a column. Have you done that?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, now type series for the title of this column.
Done, sir.
Okay. Somebody's on the phone in the background. Let me, that person should mute if you're on the phone. I don't want to mute everybody. The feedback is helping the class. Okay, we've typed a series. Now, the first number we entered as serial numbers, 1, 2, 3. But what if it is not serial, like 1, 2, 3? Which increases by 1. So we are doing, let's say 2, 4, 6, or 1, 3, 5, or 5, 10. What's the next number after 5, 10?
15.
15. That's a series. So what if we are doing a series that increases in 5, in 10s, in 20s? Whatever series, Excel can easily create it for you. So let's start with a series that we are very used to. We are going to do multiple series, 2 and then 4. What would be the next number be?
6.
6. We are not going to type it. Let's select 2 and 4. Don't drag down. Select 2 and 4 and wait for me. Let me know when you've selected 2 to 4.
No, sir.
Okay. Now bring your cursor to that same black line. Remember that our black line, right? Sorry, our black square. Green square, black square. I'm not sure. Bring your cursor to that square. Double click. Tell me what happens. Double click.
It numbers down.
Okay,
in series.
now,
it takes the number down in series.
Where did it stop?
20.
No,
Okay, now.
Okay, mine, because I stopped my numbering at 10, got to 20 and stopped.
Okay,
Mine is 40.
fantastic. Fantastic. So that's fine. So you know the result you are getting is because you stopped at 10. People who are getting
Yes, sir.
40 is because they stopped at 20. Now, what Excel has done is you are creating a series in the next column. By putting 2 and 4, you have shown Excel a pattern. You know what's a pattern, right?
Yeah.
You are telling Excel, I'm increasing this series by 2. So when you select 2 of them together, it gives Excel a pattern, 1. Then 2, when you double click, Excel looks at the next column and thinks, okay, if this man just numbered 1 to 20, I think what the man wants to do or what the woman wants to do is the same data. The data on this column would align with the data on the next column. So Excel automatically feeds your data from the 1 to 20 on column of numbers. So it does your series and stops at 40. It does not continue. But if you want the series to continue, for example, we can select 38 and 40 and start to drag it down. Already got into. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So this is the fastest way of entering data. Once you have data in an adjacent column, the column beside, if this data 1, 2, 3 was far away, Excel won't see it. But once it's in the next column, Excel will take bearing from that column. Now, this is where we are stopping for today. Let's delete the entire series. I clicked on 2, Control-Shift that, and I delete. Let's create another series. I want our series to start from 1 and increase in steps of, oh, let's start, yes, 1, and increase in steps of 5s. If it increases in steps of 5, after 1, what's the next data? What's the next? 6. So we enter 6. Now, after 6, what's the next?
11.
That's a series, right? So we are not going to enter it manually. I just entered 1 and 6. When I double click, Excel gives me a series, right? So that is a series. But I think one sweet one is 0, 5 and 10. This is very common, right? Counting in 5s. 5, 10, I double click. 15, 20, all the way. Another very common one is counting in 10s. 10, if I count in 10s, after 10, what's the next 10? 20. So I can select the two of them, double click, Excel keeps counting in 10s. So that's series for you. Excel can put in series. I'm going to wrap up the class here, and I'm going to, before I go, I'm going to say thank you all very much for staying. Imagine running a class and nobody's on the other side of the class, or nobody's commenting, nobody's giving you feedback. It would have been a very terrible evening for me. So thank you all very much for your time. I'm going to take 1 or 2 questions before we go. But to mention, class continues next week, Wednesday. Every Wednesday, 8 o'clock. This has been recorded. I'm going to share it on the YouTube channel. Like I said, I'm going to share the YouTube link. When you go to YouTube, please like and subscribe to our page. Of course, everything we are doing in this class is going on that channel. So for the next 4 weeks, we are going to be here. And like I said, if we do this again, we are going to make it Wednesday and Thursday, because some people went to church today. Oh, they said, oh, can we make it Thursday? Okay, the next time we're going to have Wednesday and Thursday, 1. Then 2, if you need live classes, for now, we are presently in Abuja and Minna. We are able to do live classes in those places. And then beyond this, like I mentioned in the introduction, we do project management, data analytics, workplace and personal effectiveness, personal development. We do all kinds of trainings. We organize trainings for offices and for individuals, whether it's communication, whether you are the one who they say, come and speak, you run away, talk to us. Of course, I expect you have my number and my email. And if you need a live class, your own personal class, you can always let us know in the comment section. So next week, we are going to open this page, complete it, and then we are going to move on. I'm sure next week we are going to do some basic. If we work fast next week, we should be able to get into calculation so that we start writing our first functions. All we have tried to cover today is the basic Excel interface. What is Excel? Introduction to Excel and the interface, working with rows and columns, and then we stopped at entering data. So we've entered numbers, we've entered series, and the next thing we'll go on is name, and then days of the week, months, and dates. Because they have special ways they behave in Excel. That's why we are bothering to deal with them. So we start our class from there. So if there's any question, I'll take it. If you are not asking here, you can put the question in the chat. The chat room will be open for a while. You can put the question on the WhatsApp chat, please. That's what I mean. I can see a lot of chat on the Zoom, on the Zoom, and it doesn't stay. Okay, thank you. Okay, so if you have questions, please put it on the chat, and then I'll deal with it either in the chat group. I can do a video just to answer the question. That's the truth. I can do a video to answer the question, or in the next class, I will answer the question plus all the other things we are doing. So without further ado, I'll wait for 1 minute for a question, and then if not, we'll end the class. We've been here for almost 2 hours, and that's been quite fantastic and interesting. Yes, do I have any question?
Yes, Mr. Ken.
Yes,
This
let me
Abdullahi.
hear. Okay, Abdullahi, yes, let me hear.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your time this evening. I really appreciate this.
No problem.
The only
You're
thing
welcome.
I missed out on this was how to increase my column. How to add, to add multiple columns. I missed that. I don't know if you can just.
Okay, quickly touch it, right? Okay, I'm
Yes.
going to use, are you on your entering data worksheet? The sheet you are seeing. Okay, now let's assume that I have numbers, I have series, and I have name and text, right? And I want to add 2 columns. Let me say 3 columns between series and names, right? I'm going to add 3 columns there. I go to my names, which is my column D. Put your arrow on top of it. You see, put your cursor on top of it. You see a downward pointing arrow.
Yes, on B, yes.
No, on D. D,
okay.
D has my names and text. I want to add a column behind it. 3 columns, actually. So now to insert 1 column, I only need to click on D. I'll insert 1 column. To insert 3 columns, I need to click on D at the top because it selects it all the way down, the entire column. Shift my hand to E, shift my hand to F. I have selected 3 columns. When I right click, yes.
Okay.
Okay, let's go back
D,
again.
E, and F.
Yes, D, E, and F. That's 3 columns.
Yes.
When you right click on the selection, you know, when you highlight, you see the thing as grid, and click on insert, it drops 3 columns for you. Try it out. Let's see. I
got that.
3 columns. So now this thing that works for columns, like I said, also work for the rows.
Okay.
If you were going to insert 1 column, all you simply needed to do was to select your D. Now, when you select your D, Excel inserts the column behind D. You get used to that. Sometimes, even till now, sometimes I insert column in the wrong position. It's not a big deal. You just click on do, select the right position. If I want to insert a column between days of the month, days of the week, and months, I go to months and I select from the top my F, which is months. I click right click and I do insert. It drops a column behind months. We still have some work on the working with, when we get to formatting, we still do some work with rows and column. We can increase and reduce them. At least have some work on rows and column when we deal with formatting. But this is how to insert columns, how to insert rows. It works the same way. You want to insert a single one, you select a single column or a single row. You want to insert multiple, even if it is 20 rows and column. Now, let me just tell somebody to notice you. When you insert rows and column, it does not change the number or the letters. I hope we can notice that. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If I insert a new column, it doesn't change A, B, C, D. The new column will take the next letter. It's only when I hide an unhide column that something can disappear. I just wanted somebody to notice that. Inserting rows and columns does not mean that you're increasing a cell. No, it just puts, it's like it takes a column from far away and puts it here. The numbers and the letters 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D, they still stay the same. But when you hide columns, some disappear because they are hidden. So you can see A, B, F. What it means is that D and E are hidden. So that's for that. There was a second question. Can I take it in 1 minute?
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I've had my hand raised for a while now. I thought maybe.
Yeah, sorry, Zainab, forgive me. Yeah. I took one guy. I'm going to take one lady. I'm that nice. So,
all right. So
any other question will go into the group. Yes, Zainab, let me hear.
All right. So I have an issue with that flash fill. Mine isn't working, so I don't really know
Is it
for the
flash
issue.
fill or shift? We haven't even done flash fill yet. The series.
No, what I mean is
The
when
series
I write the numbers, whether series or anything, and I double
Yes.
click on that little, is it square, right? That little square
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
It doesn't really fill it up
It
for me.
doesn't fill up going down. Okay,
Yeah.
first of
So
all,
when I
let's
look at
establish that do you have data in the next column, for example?
in the next
Yes.
next to the column I'm using,
Yes.
yes, I do. I do
Okay,
have
now
like 3
for
columns
me,
with
I have
numbers.
1, 2, 3 all the way down, right? So on my numbers column, let's go over it together. Do you have
Okay.
data on your numbers column?
Yes, I do.
Number 1 to what?
I have number 1 to I think 18. Yeah.
No, fantastic. Now the next column has for me is series. Do you have that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so let's put 2 and 4 here.
Okay,
2 and 4.
and 4. I've done that.
Now where some people usually find challenges in selection. If you select only 4, it's not going to work. If you select only 2, it's not going to work because there's no pattern. You're not showing a cell any pattern, so you can't fill down. So select 2, drag it to 4. So you are selecting 2 and 4.
Yeah.
Confirm you have done that. That's the place I suspect there's a challenge.
Yeah, I've done that.
Select 2 and 4. Now when you put your cursor over the green square, black square, it gives you a cross with no arrow.
Yes, I do have it there.
Smart double click. Are you using the mouse or your keyboard?
My keyboard, touchpad.
Okay, double click. Touchpad, yes. Double click, sharp.
So when I double click, it's actually highlighting the next column. Like it's highlighting the particular the column I'm working with, and then also the next column.
No, it's not supposed to. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, now I've zoomed in very well so that you can see. I have data on my numbers column, and then I have series. I have my 2, I have my 4. So I click on my 2. You see this? Can you see my white cross?
Yeah, I've done it. I've highlighted 2 and 4. I've done that actually.
Okay, now I'm going to leave my mouse and I'm going to use my keyboard. Do you have your black cross?
Yes, I do. On that little square thing.
Yes, on the black square at the very corner.
Okay, I have green. Yeah, but it's a square.
Okay, it's green. Green, black, depending on how sharp your eyes are. So
okay,
sharp double click. That's all. Sharp double click.
Still the same thing.
What is
so I am thinking actually I'm using the web version. So could that be the reason? I know how. So it's I've logged into an account, office account on the web.
Okay. No. You are steps ahead of us. It should work. If you are using that's Microsoft 360, right?
365, yeah.
365, 365. That's you are steps ahead. Even the people in Justice.
Because I actually know how to use this. I've used this before. I've used it before. That's what I'm saying. I've used it before, but this particular one is not working. So that's why I'm thinking maybe it could be.
No, 365. These are not features they change. It's a very useful feature. I don't expect them to remove it. I even expect them to enhance it.
I've done it now. He added 1 number.
No. Okay, now tell me about your next column. Your next column that have numbers. Are there spaces on that column?
No.
Is there a space between? Now for me it's column B and column C. Is there a space in between 2 of them?
No, there isn't. Just the way yours is. I have 2.
Fine. So
the 2 columns are close
together. You can see the way mine is set up right now. I've selected 2 and 4. Once I double click, it just goes down sharply. Okay, Jenna.
All right, can I? Yeah.
Try this again. If it doesn't work, reach out to me. Send me a message that if it works, I need to wrap up the class. Send me a message if whether it works or it doesn't work. I need to hear from you.
All right. So sorry, a quick one before I do that. So there is this box that comes out just below the numbers. So it has like a drop down. when I click on the drop down, it has copy cells, fill series, and then flash fill. Like your own now, I can see the flash fill icon.
By the
that
time
icon,
you get that boss,
I can see that. Well, mine is
by
like
the time you get that boss, that's this boss.
something like this.
You have already taken the action of copying down. Now this this gives you options. After you copy down, this gives you options that we are not going to get into now. Copy cells. If you say copy cells, 2 and 4 we keep repeating. We're going to get into that at the time. If you say fill formatting only, these are options I don't want to get into now. We'll get into flash fill does something else. Looks at the next column and copies things into this column. There are things we will deal with. We have a
I
sheet
understand.
called flash fill.
I'm just trying to tell you what comes out for me.
If you
instead of
see
that
this,
small flash fill something.
If you see this, it means you've already taken the action of copying down. This comes out, these options comes out after you copy down. So what I'm wondering is, you know why I was asking if there are spaces is, why is your copy down not working? Are you using 2 and 4 as your numbers? Any series you use will actually work.
Can you see this? Do you see that particular flash fill something that came out for you?
No, this one is quick analysis.
Okay, fine. This thing, quick analysis.
Yes.
So I don't really have it. When I have my mouse or my cursor on that particular square thing, it doesn't come out.
It's not a problem.
Okay, that's not a problem.
No, we'll get to quick.
So, but what I would do,
yes.
maybe I'll just chat you up. Maybe I'll try and get.
If push comes to shove, we'll set up something extra 5-10 minutes. You share your screen with me.
Exactly, that's what I was about to suggest.
Share your screen with me, but I can't take it in class now. We need to wrap up. We have 5. Some people, I'm sure I've kept them beyond their bedtime. My apologies if I've kept you beyond your bedtime, but thank you all very much for staying. And any questions, comments, put it in the chat group while it is open. I think somewhere time tomorrow, I'd like to shut down the chat group. I don't like people posting unrelated things. So if his chat group is shut down, chat me directly. My number is there. I actually have 2 lines there. So thank you all very much. We'll take it from here next week, Wednesday. But between now and then, I'd have shared the recording. Like I said, like and subscribe to our page. Of course, you watch the videos there. So bye-bye, and do all have a very restful evening. I hope you all are at home, right?
Yeah, bye-bye. Thank you.
I'm in the office, so I need to start going home before they think I am out of. So thank you all very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time, just sharing this evening with you all. So I just wanted to show my face. Yes. For those who don't know my face, that's Jigo. Jigo, thank you for saying. Yes, for those who don't know my face, I wanted to show my face. So I wear glasses now, don't mind me.
Please show your face, so we don't know you.
We've seen your face.
I just showed my face. So thank you all very much for coming. We'll be together again next week, Wednesday. All right, UK, thank you. Shoduke, thank you. All Zena, thank you. Thank you for all the feedback. It's been my pleasure. So I'll see you guys. Let me end the class for now. Thank you.